Hi there. My name is Dr. Christine Dollahan, and I'm a energy psychology practitioner, intuitive, and life purpose coach. And today I want to share a little bit more about the spirit baby realm and my experience with the spirit baby realm and how I got into contact with the spirit baby realm. Last week I talked a little bit more about my pre-birth experience, which was something that made me really nervous. I haven't shared this with a whole lot of people, not to speak of the entire world and a YouTube channel. So, um, this was a really big step for me to get over my own fear of being judged, and you know, but I felt like it was really important to do so that more people can hear of this and kind of create their own opinions about this this sort of thing and what we're here to do. And in line with that, I want to, having been a spirit baby myself and having had a memory of that. And if you haven't listened to that video, go ahead and check it out. But having been a spirit baby, I want to also tell you about my experience as a woman who wanted to become pregnant and having had experiences with it that I couldn't have made up, even if I wanted to. So let me tell you about this story. It's quite mind-blowing. About 4 years ago, my husband and I had been married for about a year, so that was in 2019 going into 2020. And him and I had decided that we were old enough to and ready enough to have children. And we started trying. So I went to my OB-GYN at the time, and I said, my husband and I are ready. We want to start trying. She was like, great, everything looks great. You're a normal, healthy woman. He's a normal, healthy man. Nothing should get in the way there. And, to start trying. And if in 12 months from now it hasn't happened, then we're going to have to start talking about other options, but just start trying. So I was like, cool. So we went home and, did our merry thing and tried and tried and tried, and nothing happened. And at first I didn't really think of anything. I was just like, that's cool. It's going to happen. It's going to happen when, when the universe decides that it should happen. But then 5-6 months into it, I started getting worried. And I was like, maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe this isn't working out. So every time I got my period, I would sink lower and lower, and started really feeling pretty low, to a point where people would tell me all around me, oh, pregnant, oh, this happened. And I would start feeling really jealous and would envy them. And I would say, well, why are they all getting pregnant, but I am not? So I remember, at that time, we had kind of tried for about 6-7 months. I was ready to just kind of figure this out, and I decided to actually, a friend of mine who, I just got my period and I was really low, and I called her and I cried and I said, this really sucks. And she was like, oh, you know what? My sister, her cleaning lady said, look into spirit babies. And I was already full blown on this path that I'm on as a healer, and I had all my Reiki attunements, all that, the whole shebang. So I was like, spirit babies. I'd never thought of that, never heard of that. What's that? And so the lady gave me a couple books. She was like, look into those books. And I started looking into those books, and I was fascinated, absolutely fascinated. And also really excited, because some of what I read in there was very close and similar to what I had experienced in my pre-birth experience. And it also made me very, very hopeful that my wish for a child would actually mean that there is a soul out there that had chosen me as a mom. So lo and behold, I decided to call a spirit baby reader. And the spirit leader was absolutely lovely. And she read for me, and she told me, "Oh, there absolutely are spirit babies. Do you know how many?" And I said, "Well, I feel like at least two." She goes, "Yeah, I actually feel there's a possibility for three." And I said, "Oh, interesting." And then she said, "You know what your first spirit baby's gender will be?" And I said, "I don't know why, but I always had a feeling I was going to have a girl as my first." And she said, "Yeah, that's what I feel too." And I said, "Well, my husband really wants a boy though." And he goes, "Oh, don't worry, your husband's going to get his boys." So I, kind of just left it there. She gave me a couple of other suggestions. One of them being, to change my diet because I wasn't strong enough to carry a baby. And, still being skeptical, because even though I'm on this path, my skeptical side has always come in, which is why I've gotten a PhD in this stuff, because I wanted to see the evidence and the data. And unfortunately, with a lot of this stuff, is still anecdotal, right? We can't really get quantitative data because how are you going to measure it? But, my skeptical self was still in there, and I was like, okay, well, we'll see. I mean, she said I was going to get pregnant very soon. As she said, I was going to have a girl, and if I have a girl, then maybe there's something to this. So, this was in November, I believe, November of 2019. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to, see how it goes. And nothing happened until in January of 2020. I had started a manifestation practice of manifesting my spirit baby. And I share all about that in my courses. And I was almost certain in January that I wasn't pregnant again. And I remember sitting on my Peloton and doing I believe it was a high intensity class, and being so very angry. I mean, tears were streaming down my face, and I was just like, why is everybody getting pregnant and not me? I miss my spirit baby. I want to get pregnant. So I got all my energy out, and then sat in meditation, and saw a beautiful angel come up to me in my meditation, and don't fully remember the name of the angel anymore. I can look it up and put it in the notes here, but my mind was blown because he gave me his name, and I was like, okay, maybe I just made this up. But when I looked it up, it turned out that this specific angel I had never heard of actually was the angels for women who were supposed to conceive very soon. And so I was mind blown, and I was like, oh wow, there must have been something in this meditation. So that was that. And a couple of weeks later, I still hadn't gotten my period. And so I was like, I wonder, maybe I'm pregnant. Maybe this actually happened. So again, I was sitting in meditation. And in this meditation, what I saw was a ball of white and pink energy. And it was right outside of my aura. So I saw my auras and all of its dimensions, because we have several bodies outside of our physical body that make up our energy body, and our spiritual bodies, and our mental emotional bodies, and all of that. And I saw this ball float in from my right side and into my womb area. And then it merged with my womb. I saw this very clearly in meditation. This was the end of January of 2020, beginning of February of 2020. A week later, I was bound for Europe. I'm from Europe originally. I'm from Germany, and my husband and I, wanted to go visit and have a vacation there. And so I kind of was like, interesting. I wrote down the memory. I wrote down everything, or the meditation. I wrote down everything that I had, that was in there, and I just let it be. So we went to Germany, and I very honestly thought that I was having PMS symptoms, that I was going to have my period very soon. Um, and got a hint that morning when we landed in Germany that I should probably take a pregnancy test. And lo and behold, I was pregnant. And I was like, this is amazing. Now, there was definitely something there in my meditation that I saw. And if this pink energy means this is a girl, then there's absolutely something to this. Now, everybody told me that they thought I was going to have a boy. And the spirit baby reader that I told you about earlier, way back then, was like, oh, she's a little mischievous. She's a little fairy. She's a little mischievous. And she thinks it's super funny. People are going to think that she's a boy, but she really isn't. Everybody thought she was a boy. I mean, every single body. And I'm like, nah, not a boy. Definitely a girl. Feel it very distinctly. I did all the tests, okay? I mean, look it up. There's plenty of tests out there that you can supposedly test what your gender you're going to have. All the tests, by the way, pointed to girl. So, I got my test results back. I don't think we did the blood test, but when she was old enough in my womb to see what gender she had, they told me that it was a girl, and that's my daughter. She is now a little bit over 3 years old. She's definitely a very mischievous little fairy, still to this day. And it's just shows you that this is right. Now, when I meditated back then, when I saw her energy float into my womb and merge with me, I also saw another ball of energy a little bit further out of my energy field, and that ball was white with blue around it, and it was kind of like a feeling of there was going to be a boy coming, and he was going to come my way. And I will tell you that story of how I conceived my son another time, but he definitely did come 2 years later, and a year and a half later, and he's now a little over a year old, and I did have the boy that this woman had also, uh, you know, predicted, and I saw him in his energy, as this energy ball, and after my daughter was born, had many pre-birth communications with him telepathically, where he told me, I want to come soon. But that's a story for another time that I will definitely share with you. Now, I'm sharing these stories sort of as an introduction into some of the videos that I plan to make in the future. And if you're watching this in the future, they've probably been made, and you can go back and watch them, because I really want to create an awareness around the pre-birth and the spirit baby realm. I think there's a lot of awareness of the afterlife, where souls go when they pass away, because it causes us a lot of grief. So we obviously want to know that our loved ones are okay. And I think pre-birth, people are not really thinking about this. So I'm hoping to close the gap there, and I'm also hoping to shed some light on some things based on what the spirit world has given me, because a lot of what I do here is channeled. It's intuitive work. I'm not making this up. I'm not sitting here making up stories for you. Although that certainly would be fun, but it's not what I'm here for. So So that said, that was the story of how my experience with the spirit baby realm began, and I've had many encounters and connections with them ever since. I've been able to pretty spot only predict what people were going to have before they found out what the gender was. Um, it's always fun for me to hear when a woman says, I want to become pregnant, to kind of feel into it and be like, oh, it could be a girl, it could be a boy. Um, I think in the recent 3 years, I've only had one person where I was not right. Um, every other person, I was like, I knew she was going to have a boy. I knew she was going to have a girl, because the the soul that is coming in is showing, the gender that they're going to take, and um, we can talk about that a little bit more as well. Right now, there's a lot of boys coming in with a lot of very feminine energy, and I have my own theory and intuitive guidance on why that is. That's something I'm going to talk about as well. So, with that, I will leave you. I won't ramble on here. If you found this video helpful, please do me a favor and share it. Please subscribe. Go look at the things that I do if you're interested in them. I'm an energy psychology practitioner, a life purpose coach, and an intuitive guidance and counselor. I also do a lot of work with moms, because I'm very passionate about helping new moms and those women that want to become moms. So go check out my work. Please subscribe. Please share this. And I will see you in another video.